Hey, what's up, everyone? For this video, I want to talk about some of the recommended Japanese wrestling shows from 2011 from some of the guys here on YouTube and from Daniel's forum. So yeah, don't have a lot of time, so I just want to jump right into it. So let me say this: you guys could buy these shows at IBPvideos.com. I'll have the link in the description for all the shows, and also you could actually search for these matches on YouTube. I think they should all be available on YouTube except the Dragon Gate stuff. So let's get right down to it. I want to talk about Dragon Gate Infinity, episodes 205 and 206. They put it on one DVD. You actually can't find this on YouTube. The only way you could actually download it. I don't have the links to the exact download, so I actually bought this at ivpvideos.com. So yeah, this is recommended to me because of the Masato Yoshino and Don Fuji match for the Open the Dream Gate title. I'm a huge fan of Yoshino. I just think he's arguably, from what I've seen, I think he's probably one of the best athletes in the world. And him and Don Fuji had a 4-star match. It was a nice mix of styles because Don Fuji's more of like a veteran in Dragon Gate. He's a bigger guy. He doesn't really have that stereotypical Dragon Gate style. And I thought it made for a nice combination. They got about 25 minutes. Really good stuff. Aside from that, in these tapings, you had Seema's Blood Warriors. Or Seema turned heel and started the Blood Warriors faction, which kind of a little bit BDK-esque for the actual turn. A lot of people in that stable: Genki Horiguchi, Naruki Doi, Dragon Kid. A lot of turns there, and I thought it came out pretty well. So some good wrestling on those tapings as well. I definitely recommend both of those shows on DVD. I thought they came out pretty good. All right, so let's move on to the Pro Wrestling Noah, the first navigation. The first part of the first navigation. This featured the match of the year candidate, Yoshihiro Takayama versus Kenta. A lot of people have raved about this match. I know Daniel has it as one of his top 5 matches of the year. And it's very, very short, though. It's more of like a fight. Kenta just takes it to Takayama 100 miles an hour. Because Takayama's a bigger guy. He's very, very big. He's old. Very intimidating looking, though. To me, he really reminds me of Vigor the Carpathian from Ghostbusters 2. He really has that intimidating presence. And that's a compliment by saying that. That might sound a little bit cartoonish to people that haven't seen the movie, but Takayama, I still think he could go. I think he had a really underrated year last year, and him and Kenta just slapped the taste out of each other's mouths. Really short, but I loved it though. Solid 4-star match. Also from this show, you had Marufuji and Atsushi Aoki for the junior tag team titles, taking on the Osaka Pro team. And it really dragged. I thought this could have been a little bit better. It was still good stuff though. Marufuji and that dude from Osaka Pro, the really fast guy with the pink tights. I think those two could put on an amazing singles match. But this show really had some good stuff on it. A really dead crowd though. Not an easy show to sit through. Takashi Shiguro took on Bison Smith in the main event. Bison Smith has wrestled for Ring of Honor in the past. He's really, really big. But he's an average worker, and to me, Segura just hasn't been giving a lot of great opponents this year so far. A lot of people have said his title reign has gotten very, very stale, and I kind of agree. But I think you could really blame it on the opponents he's been given. He had to wrestle A-Train, Trevor Murdoch, and first he had to wrestle Bison Smith. It just doesn't compare to the talent pool that he had last year. So. And as far as this show goes, Kensuke Sasaki's match was very, very good as well. 3.5 stars. He took on Takuma Sano, which is very, very good stuff. So definitely check it out. All right, so the next Noah show I want to talk about is the First Navigation, the last part of the First Navigation tour. Really nothing to talk about in this show. This featured Kenta's heel turn, which came off very generic. I didn't really like the way Kenta turned heel. I didn't feel like the crowd really reacted to it appropriately, because obviously in Japan you would think that would have been a big deal, but I just didn't like the way it turned out. As far as the actual turn went, I think Kenta's actually doing a good job as a heel based on some of the other stuff I've seen after the show. But aside from that, the only match to check out on the show is Kotaro Suzuki versus Eddie Edwards. There was a huge buzz for this match on YouTube, and like people have said, it's one of the best matches of the year. I really loved it. Kind of started off slow, took a while to get going, but I thought the last 10 minutes were extraordinary. If you watch this for the first time, you'll be really thrilled. It's really excellent stuff. Probably the second best match Eddie Edwards has had this year so far. I still think his match with Roderick Strong is the match of the year. All right, so let's move on to the next Noah show. We have Pro Wrestling Noah's The Great Voyage in Tokyo. A really good show. Pretty good stuff here, actually. This features definitely the Noah match of the year. We have Kotaro Suzuki versus Katsuhiko Nakajima. This is even better than the Eddie Edwards match. It's a little bit shorter and a little bit easier to digest. Just tremendous action here. Nakajima really, really, he has. I don't know. Last year he wasn't really given much to do, but it kind of reminds you of how great he was. He had those great matches with Kenta, and these two just knocked it out of the park. I mean, just tremendous action. I just really loved it. It just flowed beautifully. Kotaro Suzuki, he's had a great year. He's had like 3 of the best Noah matches of the year so far. But I don't know. I'm not really that impressed with him overall. I think he's good, but I just feel like he's been just given a lot of time out there. 25 minutes, 30 minutes. So he's getting the time. And on top of that, they're giving him great opponents. Nakajima, Eddie Edwards, Taiji Ishimori, who I think is really underrated. That was another great match. I'm not going to review that match in this part of the reviews, but you know what I'm trying to say. He's been giving great talent to work with, and he's been getting a lot of time. But he just doesn't have the star presence that a Marufuji or a Kenta has. That's just my opinion. Segura's match against Giant Bernard, aka A-Train, it was all right. A-Train looked pretty dominant. I just think he's a little bit overweight though. It just didn't. It was a little bit sluggish, but at the same time did have some good drama with Segura almost getting counted out. I thought Giant Bernard looked pretty strong here, so that was pretty good. Aside from that, Marufuji and Aoki took on Ogawa and Ricky Marvin. Really solid tag match, and Kenta actually did some pretty good heel work. He actually kicked Mohammed Yone out of his group. I thought Kenta looked like a badass there, so that was cool. I'm not a big fan of Mohammed Yone. I hate his theme music. It just seems very, very soft to me from what I've seen. He doesn't get a lot of time in a lot of his matches, but you've probably seen him before in some of the Noah shows. So yeah, that was pretty good stuff. So let's talk about 0-1. Wanted to check out the 0-1 show. This took place on January 1st, 2011. This is highly recommended to me by Sean Carlton Zero, and I'm glad he did because this match is awesome. We have for the 0-1 World Heavyweight Championship, we have Daisuke Sekimoto taking on Akuda Hidaka. Great stuff. If you watch it on YouTube, you're probably going to be bored throughout the first couple minutes. It started off really, really slow. They started doing tests of strengths. It's just very, very slow stuff. But after a while, this just picked up and got amazing. It just made for a nice mix of styles because Hidaka is somewhat smaller than Sekimoto, but at the same time, I felt like Sekimoto was kind of the underdog in this match, even though he was the champion, even though Sekimoto was like twice the size of him. But like I said, just really, really, really amazing stuff here. Very, very satisfying. Great. There was some amazing near falls. You were just like on the edge of your feet throughout some of this stuff, and I just thought Hidaka looked really, really crisp. And like I said, I thought Hidaka definitely, felt like he was, definitely the aggressor and favorite to win this match. Aside from that, I thought Sawa had a tag match that was pretty enjoyable. Everything else is pretty mediocre on this show. I really can't give it a high rating. I would pretty much say it's a one-match show. All right, so let's move on to DDT. I want to talk about DDT. It's listed as episode number 309. I believe the match took place at the end of January. A lot of people have been, really, really high on this match. I know Daniel said this is on his forum. He actually posted it as one of his top 5 matches. AMC N1 has this like 7th or 8th on his match of the year list. So I think that says a lot right there. We have Dick Togo versus Antonio Honda. Excellent brawl, excellent intensity. DDT, they have a lot of, it's kind of a, I would say it's pretty much like kind of the Chikara of Japan. There's a lot of comedy and just a lot of feuds going on. Everything pretty much has a story behind it over there. And apparently Dick Togo and Antonio Honda, this has been building for a long time. And like I said, a great brawl. This got very bloody, just great intensity. This was just tremendous action. I thought, just a lot of awesome punches thrown from both guys. It just felt like a real fight. Pretty good stuff. I wasn't blown away by it. It's not like one of my top 10 matches of the year, but I can see why people are really high on it. It's definitely worth checking out. I think it's available here on YouTube. Aside from that, on the DDT show, you had Kota Ibushi teaming up with Kenny Omega in the main event. and it was a pretty average main event. Really nothing to talk about. I'm not a big fan of watching DDT stuff, but they do deliver pretty solid main events. Um, Let me talk about the All Japan pay-per-view. This took place on March 21st, 2011, right after the tsunami in Japan. And this show is very, very inconsistent. It really, like before intermission, after intermission is when all the good stuff happened. After that, it just went really, really downhill. So yeah, we have for the All Asia tag titles, Sia Sanada, Manabu Soya, taking on Daisuke Sekimoto and Yuji Okabayashi. Excellent tag match. This got a lot of time, and this is one of the most tremendous tag matches of the year so far. Very, very hard hitting. Just tremendous action. I thought Sekimoto looked great here. And that's pretty much all I can say about it. I'm not going to dissect it move by move. You'll definitely be entertained by it. You watch it here on YouTube. Just definitely, amazing stuff. Um, I like Keiji taking on Daishi Hashimoto. This is really good. Keiji Muto has been he's one of the most popular wrestlers in Japan. PWI magazine has ranked him very, very high in the PWI 500 going back to the early 2000s. I've never seen him wrestle before. It's my first time checking him out. I was really impressed, with his match. It went about 10 minutes. Very, very stiff. Very good stuff. Masakatsu Funaki and Minoru Suzuki taking on Yuji Nagata and Jushin Thunder Liger. I thought this could have been a lot better. This got only about 8 minutes and 20. Went 8 minutes and 26 seconds, and I don't know, man. I thought out of anything, this probably had potential to be really, really good, but it just didn't get enough time. Um, the other match we're checking out, we have Minoru versus Shuichi Kondo. Really, really good stuff. Minoru had a great match with Kaz Hayashi that's available on YouTube, which I think everyone should check out. That was actually a lot better than this. This is still good, though. This guy is Minoru. He's really, really athletic. Tremendous athlete. This featured great submission wrestling. Just a lot of really cool stuff going on in this match. That was good. But besides that, then the card starts to suck. I thought, the last two matches sucked. The World Tag Team title match really sucked. Really just dragged. It got good towards the end, but it dragged. Main event, Suwama versus Kento. Horrible. Dragged 30 minutes and just very, very uninteresting, very unappealing. I couldn't wait for it to end. So that's pretty much it. Just wanted to come on here and recommend some of these shows to you guys. Want to thank AMC N1, Sean Carlton Zero, and Daniel for keeping us up to date with some of the stuff going on in Japan.